Hello, good afternoon. Today is February 24th, and it is 1 p.m. in Tennessee, at least West Tennessee. Uh, East Tennessee, it's 12:50, or it's, wait a minute, I'm getting all confused. Anyway, it's 1 o'clock here, and it's 2 o'clock in East Tennessee. I knew I'd get it right eventually because I have a can do spirit and I'm not willing to give up. And that can do spirit has been with the United States before it was ever the United States. Uh, if these explorers coming over from Europe and Asia and I don't know wherever else they were coming from, if they felt like, we're not going to make it, uh, maybe we should turn back. And some did. They didn't have that can do spirit. But a bunch of people made it. And when they got here, they found that it was not going to be such an easy existence. They were going to have to work and build, and they didn't know much about what kind of crops they could grow here. Um, they went through a period of starvation, and um, the winters must have been tremendously difficult for them to survive. But they didn't give up. They had that can do spirit, that American can do spirit. And it's ingrained in me. Um, but we seem to be losing that can do spirit. Uh, we give up too easy now. We throw up our hands. Oh, well, can't do it. Can't do anything about it. Biden and Harris spent their entire presidency in denial. They they just, we're not going to deal with it, and they didn't. Every problem that came up only got worse because they had no can-do spirit. They had no ability within them to say, we can do this. We can make a difference. Trump doesn't have that problem. His staff doesn't have that problem. Um, the only thing that can defeat what's happening now in our country is if for some reason this lunatic left side decides they're not going to give up. Um, but right now, they probably should give up because they just keep making it worse and worse and worse. You know, George Washington and all of these folks that were in the battles against Great Britain to become independent from them, they all had can-do spirits. George Washington and his men had to survive an incredibly horrible, horrible, disease ridden, freezing ridden, starvation ridden winter at Valley Forge. They didn't give up. Can do spirit. The settlers that, we all started on the East Coast mostly. And that's where they stayed mostly was the East Coast because they were in these ships and they were saying, finally they said, get us to land. We just want land. We'll take any land we can get. They kept on going and they made it to land. And eventually, some of these folks with that can do spirit decided move west. And so the great expansion of the United States, of course, began, and they just continued to move west, continued to move west, and continue to move west until they hit the Pacific Ocean. And then I hope they stopped. Okay. And we need to get back to that can do spirit. I believe with all my heart when Donald Trump says that the Russia-Ukraine war would have never been had he been in the Oval Office. I believe that because he's got that can-do spirit. My goodness. They impeached him. They sued him. They took him to court. They wanted to put him in jail. They went after his family. He wouldn't stop. He wouldn't quit. He had a mission, and he's on his mission now. He's back in the White House, and he got a bunch of people around him that all they know is that they can do. Pete Hegseth can do. I promise you that. Kash Patel can do. Okay? We've already seen Marco Rubio's ability, and we've already seen J.D. Vance's ability. We're seeing what Bissett, anyway, Secretary of the Treasury, he's right there doing his thing, doing what he's supposed to do. And I really appreciate what he had to say. He said they were trying to get him to talk about negotiations and with Ukraine and Russia. And he said, look, I was there to deliver a message, about this finances. And I stay in my lane. I let those speaking on peace speak on peace. My job was to speak on the money issue, and he did. He delivered a pretty strong message to Ukraine when he went, at great personal risk, I may add, because, even while he was there, I believe Russia bombed Kiev while he was in Kiev. But he's got a can-do attitude. Tulsi Gabbard, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Pam Bondi. I mean, the list goes on and on. And my message would be to those can't do people, the liberal left mainly, get out of the way. You can't do. We know you can't do. We understand that. You don't have to tell us. We know. And all your lies and your denials and your deflections and your distractions, they ain't working anymore. Because we know, we the people are can-do people. And we have woken up. Okay, and we are going to continue to support the MAGA movement. And my thing that I want to do, what I believe will help the MAGA movement most, is if we can make America moral again. If we can get back to that can-do attitude, okay, that's a value that we were created for. Um, this is not a country of half empty or completely depleted glass. Okay, we're not even half full people. We are. The glass is overflowing people. Okay, we're going to fill it up, and then we're going to pour it out. And the American people, we are going to be the winners. Okay, will it get tough at times? You bet. Okay, because the liberal left, they don't like it. They don't like it a bit. And they're going to continue to lie, continue to insult, continue to try to drive wedges in the Republican Party. But I'm telling you right now, the executive branch and the legislative branch are two peas in a pod. Okay, you watch and see. The Senate and the House, boom. Mike Johnson said there is no space, none, between the Senate Republicans and the House Republicans. None. Sure, they're having discussions. Sure, they're having debates. Sure, they're probably having some fights because you've got can-do people wanting to do what they can do. And so they've got to meld it all together and work it all together. But they will, and they are. And as long as they stay united, and as long as the executive branch keeps moving in the direction that it's moving, then we can make America great again. We can do it. So I'm asking for people to please, number one, stop by my YouTube channel. And subscribe and like and comment. And if you would, please share. I'm doing everything I can to get the word out that we need to make America moral again. It's obvious that we do. Anybody with any value system, with any belief system, with any morality can see that, man, this country needs to back up in some respects. Okay. We need to go forward in some respects, but we also need to back up. We need to collect those values and beliefs and principles and morals again, because without them, I mean, we can cut spending, but the spending problems will just come back if we don't get people to be moral. A moral senator or a moral representative or a moral president and so on and so on, they don't go ripping off the taxpayers. They don't. They just don't. Because a moral person says stealing is just wrong. It shouldn't ever happen. Lying should not happen. It shouldn't. Killing should not happen. But yet here we are killing with impunity. There's no consequences. Every time a baby is aborted, that's a murder. Okay, that is murder. That child was murdered. But our values don't match reality anymore. We make up. whatever it is we want. We got to bring our morals back up. We got to bring our standards back up. Pete Hegseth, as an example, he said, I'm not saying I don't want women in combat. But I only want the women that can meet the standards set forward for those that are going into combat. Okay. You see what happened when DEI and all that was going on was they lowered the standards for women. Now, if you're going to be a woman in the military and you're going to be working in a hospital or you're going to be working in admin somewhere, if you're going to be a chaplain, I guess, or whatever else, combat standards are not as important. But if you are actually going to be in combat, okay, if you're going to be on those front lines fighting, you better be able to handle all the physicality that's involved in that. And that's just common sense. So pretty soon I may give up. In fact, that's kind of what steered me to this topic and kind of got my juices flowing and God started to work on me. And I'm not giving up today. I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep trying. I got 2 subscribers, but yet my video has gone out in Facebook. My videos have gone out in Truth Social. My videos have gone out in X, all coming from YouTube. I have put out my channel that you can click on at many different times. But that's fine. If you could just jump on whatever platform you see my video and say, I don't agree with you. I'm not wasting my time listening to you. I mean, that's fine. Just if that's what you want to say it. If enough people say it, I don't know. God says don't give up right now, so I'm not going to give up. Okay. Can-do spirit has lived in me all of my life, and I'm not going to give it up now. But I don't know how to encourage people anymore. I get nothing. I get a few likes. I do get views, but again, what does that mean? Nothing. I don't get any comments, none. So, all right. Thank you very much.